Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Friday evening. Go over this week with you, and starting to be Ground Hog Day over here. So hopefully everyone's starting to get a good look at. Basically, this week was the epitome of what Max Payne is, and you're seeing it firsthand what Apple has to go through for as long as I have ever been watching it. It is treated much differently because of these options that are controlling it. So let's go over the week. 410 is your highest open interest. Apple can't go above that. 380 is your highest put open interest. Can't go below that. I have some screenshots. So here is a screenshot of what was on my site. Nothing doctored up on Sunday evening. 1 o'clock. So Apple's not trading or anything. Market's closed, and this was from that Friday, the week prior. In the later part of the video, I'll go over this. It'll be kind of more advanced, so I don't want to lose anybody. And if I do, this subject is very very tough and kind of complicated at first, and so it's hard for me to explain because I've been doing it for so long. So I need to be careful and keep it simpler. But I had this on my site, and you want to see this. Apple will always move away from the highest open interest. And look at all these puts. You had 11,000 puts on the 375 strike and the 380 strike with no calls whatsoever. So Apple is going to run so far away. It's going to finish up here at 500. It wants to run away from these as fast as it can. Let's go and see what actually happened. So here's a chart broken down into days, and so here's Monday. Apple opens up 395 and goes on a $15 or so run up to 405. That's crazy. Why did that happen? It happened because guess what? You have no wall. You have no calls here. Nothing is to stop Apple. This is how it should trade all the time, just freely. Not saying $15 every day, but freely. If you would have had calls right here, no way would Apple have done that. And so you love to see this. I hear people on CNBC, side note, all the time saying, a stock will go to the highest open interest. That's a magnet. Where did Apple go? It went as far away as it could from here. So I don't really know what they're getting at on that one. So let's go later on into the week. So what happens here? So here's another shot from Tuesday. So on that Monday, that big run, now look what happened. All of a sudden, people love buying their calls on Apple. And so now we get a build. 410 is your highest open interest. And these go up too. Higher the better on these puts if you want the stock to go higher. And so what do we have now? Oh, whoops, party's over because we got calls in play now. So you're going to want to keep it under it, closer to just lower the better, under that 410 level. So what do we have here? Apple falls off a cliff, even though the market's climbing. These should be synced up. So even though the market's climbing, Apple's just dropping like a rock. I wonder why. Then we really have the calls start building up here. These 410s, this is from today. And yesterday, these were a little lower. But we have these 410s starting to get up here with these. What do we have on Thursday? Apple opens up, and this was the day the market went on a 3% run, and Apple finished maybe up a few bucks. And percent-wise, not very much. And what do we have here? Opened up at 409 and just dropped like a rock. Let's zoom in on that too if we can. So it opens up at 409 and just goes on a little drop drops $8. I wonder why. What do we have right here? Knocked it all the way back down to right here. That's weird. So as you can see, the options market fully controls Apple. It will tell you exactly where it's going to go. This is real money on the line. All these things. This isn't just some opinion type thing. And so now going into Friday, we have it just stayed flat. Well, yeah, of course it's going to stay flat. And here's the thing too, with your dollar value Max Payne, what's on the websites, and which is the original max pain done with dollar value, and you'll see it everywhere. It'll be, kind of that inverted bell curve, I guess, and so it's real smoothed out. I don't think you'll find anywhere on the web using this open interest max pain because it'll tell you so much more about trading. Um, like the dollar value max pain isn't going to tell you that this 380 is going to be, it's going to bounce off that and bounce off huge, or this 400, when it gets down to 400, it's going to come this way. When it gets up to 410, it's going to bounce back this way. It's not going to tell you all those little trading secrets about the market. And two, it uses an exact strike, like 400, it needs to expire. Where this, you need to use a range because you can't get that precise. You're not gonna. You need to broaden out your probability. You need to have huge probability, and counting on one strike, good luck with that. It doesn't really work that often to get that close. So we closed here at 404.95, right under this 405. So all these expire worthless, and these 405s right here, picture them basically right here because these expired worthless. So expired all these worthless, expired all this worthless, and I thought, I've been saying whenever you get, so on these 405s were the busiest today on volume, whenever you start to get about 2 to 3 times the volume on the open interest, so the open interest on the 405s, this is the weekly from today, is 10,000 open interest on the 405s. And so when you get to 20 to 30 plus contracts, you can kind of figure these are going to start to close, especially if it's later in the day. And so you're up here at 4 times at 40,000. And so these are going to be, all closed out, and there's not going to be much on the line anymore. And that's exactly what I thought would happen and exactly what did happen. So you have here, Apple just hangs out all day, and then the last, 20 minutes, Apple shoots up, finally breaks out of that 405, comes all the way up here to, 406 spot something. And I thought, it was going to finish and do this same thing. Something must have happened, and this is why on OpEx, who knows these real positions in here? Like, this is just the battleground. Who really knows what's going to happen in here? That's why I don't use an exact strike. Somebody must have still had some risk on. Some option writer must have had some risk on right here and just, dropped it $2 real quick or $3, whatever that is, to finish under that 405. So I'm not even going to guess what happened. Just somebody needed under 405, put it that way. And so you finish right here, and all these expired worthless. And so that is that's how the game is played. So that's about it for this week. Going off to, I'm not going to look at the next week's weeklies yet, but the Novembers, if you want to check them out. The weeklies take up all the volume now, so this really doesn't change much. So 400 is going to be your floor, 440 is going to be your top. It's going to expire somewhere in there. So I think Apple's going to, edge higher and definitely be higher. And so that's about it for the weekend. I wanted to, this last part of the video is going to be maybe confusing and hope not, but maybe let it soak in. Okay, so what you had going back to last week, let me get a chart showing last week on here. Bear with me. Go 5 days and 5 minutes, and I'll do the same thing on the spider chart. 5 days, 5 minutes. So remember, so this is a Friday, last Friday, and your, oh shoot, I don't remember what your highest open interest was, but it wasn't this low. Oh, 390 was your lowest, and I think, was it 410 or? Yeah, it must have been 410 or 405 was your highest open interest. So there was no reason for Apple to take this dump. It was kind of, it finished within the max pain range, but there was really no reason. And look, the market was up on this day too. So here's what happened. And here is one of the things where it's not necessarily manipulation so much, it's a side effect of the options. You had, so Apple takes this big dump for no reason. Well, what you had going on was this, and because so here's a screenshot uh, from Friday. Here was your volume. So here's your call open interest for this week's weekly. Um, what we're in right now, this was taken from Sunday night. So this was Friday's trading of this current week's weekly. So you had, the 400s trading up here, but what you had is look at all these. You had your open interest on your 380 puts and 375 puts, were open interest down here at 500 contracts or whatever. But during the day, look, you had this 11,000 trading down here, 11,000 puts. And so that's what got us to, and people seeing the site, this isn't really normal. That doesn't happen that often. So it should have just been down here. The put should have just looked like this and that, and then it shouldn't have been this high. But it was. That's a lot of volume. So what happened now is, get rid of this. What happened is you had all these, okay. So all these puts opened up on that Friday. And if commercial money is going to hedge these, so people are going to buy to open these, commercial money is going to sell these to you. And so to hedge them, they're going to sell off 100 shares. So they're going to sell off 100 shares, they're going to sell off 100 shares for all these times 20, 2,000 contracts times 100. So put it simply, this is going to be a lot of selling going on to open up this transaction. And that is why you had this big drop off. And yeah, that's what caused it. And so there's going to be little funky things like that you're not going to know until the next day. And so that's why sometimes it'll be like a dollar or so off. That's why I like to back out and come off a dollar or come off a strike, because that's what will cause these little things is some unknown or, just like that, some little unknown things, and it will cause it to come off by like $3 or $2. Or, this was expired 343 so it was over by $3. Anyways, those little tiny movements, and that's why some people don't like to hold until Fridays, but it's just this is more or less I'm rambling and just trying to teach a little bit here, but that's what caused that, because there's no reason for that. That's unusual to have that sell off, and this is unusual to open up in the week with this many, so that's what caused it. All right, have a good one.